TIRZ Board. Call them to order today. My name is Trey Holmes. I'm the chairman. And first thing on the agenda is to make sure we have a quorum. So we do. We'll confirm that. So we got the quorum today. And then what we'd like to do, we have some new faces in today's meeting. And so, Brianne, we'll just start with you. And if you'd introduce yourself, and then we'll move on.
Okay, Brianne Killam. I work at the San Angelo Area Foundation. I'm the CFO there.
Steve Floyd, I'm retired. Spent a few years with county government, retiring as the county judge about 2.5 years ago. And family's been involved in the business of building and some light development, so exposure to this sort of thing in the past.
And I'm Joe Spano, and I'm with Republic Waste.
Shirley, would you like to tell us who you are?
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Shirley Spears, and I am the vice chair of this board. Welcome, everyone in the audience.
Ryan Newland, ERA Newland and Company Real Estate.
All right. Well, thank you all, and welcome to our new members. Joe, we're glad you were able to make it today, and Steve, we're glad that you are now official. So yeah. So we'll keep moving things forward. The next thing on the agenda is to nominate and vote for our 2025 vice chairperson.
The agenda for today? That's the
Oh,
minutes.
excuse me.
Okay.
Yes, I apologize. So we'll get the right minutes in front of me here. So first thing is we've got to look at the meeting minutes from February 25th, which I was trying to run this meeting off of. And so we'll take a look at those, or you should have had a chance to take a look at those. Did anybody see anything that needs to be corrected? None whatsoever. So do we have a motion to approve the minutes from last month's meeting?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes from last time that we met.
Okay. Do we have a second? All right. So Shirley makes the motion, and Ryan is the second. And then if you're in favor, say aye. Aye. All right. And now we move on to the portion of our meeting for public comment. That's where people from the audience who are not on the regular agenda can come forward and make comments at this time. We do ask that you speak from the podium. Please address all comments to the dais. Give us your name and address or your single member district number. And we ask that you limit all remarks to 3 minutes. And then please remember that this is not a conversation, it's a comment, so we cannot converse with you on it, but we are happy to hear anything that you have to say. So do we have anybody for public comment this morning or this afternoon?
I don't have anyone for public comment, for the general public comment.
All right. Well, with that, we can keep moving forward. Moving into our regular agenda right here, the first thing we have is the financial report.
Thank you, Chairman. Aaron Vanoy, Director of Planning Development Services. So up on our screen right now, you can see the south area. What we have here, again, we started the fiscal year with that 1.7 through all the expenditures and commitments that we have and the previous round of private incentives awarded earlier this year. Get a little feedback, but I'll try to be quieter. We're at, that says 390, 931. But we do have an update to that this morning, that one of the projects who's here today, they were awarded in the first round, but they have withdrawn that application and submitted a new one. During that first round, they were awarded $17,219. So if you add that with the 390, 931, you get 408, 150. So the available assignment for the South is $408,150.
Okay, 408,150 for the South. Okay.
So as you see the slides today for the presentations for the 3 projects that are coming forward, Hannah has updated that number for us. And so she has that accurately shown, being the 408,150. But if you have any questions on that, feel free to ask. I suspect after today, even with just the 3 projects, say if they all ask for 75,000, that is not enough to eat up the 408,000, and so there's going to be a balance left in the south. During my director's report, I will just kind of talk about if we want to look at a future assignment, maybe in July or something, as future round, or do we want to have some strategic planning sessions with the board to see how we want to utilize that money. Of course, that money does roll over into the next fiscal year and into the next cycles if it stays there, and it always continues to accrue the interest income as it sits there in the account. So, but that's for the south. Chairman, any questions from you or the board?
Well, I was going to ask, I know we've got some newer members and you guys have been briefed and watching some of the meetings, but do you all have any questions about what you're seeing right here? I don't want to take up too much time with the meeting, but if you do, then let's ask.
So the private incentives committed, they have a certain time limit to use those, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So is that, those are all within the last, like, what time period?
We give them
Are those-
24 months from the time that they've signed their agreement. There are occasions that they can ask for an extension. If it's a 6-month extension or a year-long extension, it would come back here to the board to grant that extension. Hannah is working on actually an audit over the last couple of years to bring forward cases that are getting very close, see if they've done any work on them, are they progressing, kind of give us a status update here in the next meeting or 2.
Okay. And then the Chadburn Street, that's not people that have applied, that's something else?
That is for that streetscape that you see from the river bridge there just by Twisted Route coming up to Beauregard. That was streetscape designed for that, what we called Phase A. And those were dollars that were already committed through the board and city council for that project.
Okay, so we'll still pay those out at some point.
This is our last year of paying those out. Also, previously, and I think it might have been in 2024, the board here approved a project that is an extension of that same streetscape going to Phase B up Chadburn all the way up to 29th, and then coming down, the city received a large TxDOT grant, about $18 million from TxDOT to expand a large connectivity path through our community. TIRZ is partnering with that, leveraging some of the TIRZ funds to help pay for design and construction in the TIRZ zoned area.
Okay.
Those will start coming out of our fiscal budget in 2026. And I can let everybody know how much those are annually, but they're not as high as that is annually.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right, let's move forward, please, sir.
All right, well, let's talk about the north. The north has a lot of properties in there, a lot of major properties, and of course, we have a lot of anchor properties at the north end of our north tier zone. And so that beginning balance is very, very large. There's normally about a $2 million carryover every year. And you can see how that has continued to allow the interest income to go up. We have increased our private incentives, and we've had a lot more applicants the last 18 months. And we directly attribute that to our downtown San Angelo organization in cooperation with them, as well as Hannah doing the great job that she does when folks come in, trying to help them find some funding. But you can see we still have a large amount, $2.5 million, after everything that's already been given this year, all the way through this year. We still have $2.5 million to do something with. Just as a quick caveat, TIRZ started in 2006, and it was given a 30-year life cycle, and so 2036, so roughly 10 years, this potentially could be sunsetting. And so I think, again, maybe through some strategic meetings, talking about what do we do with this funding to help the North Tiers. If it's not being used by private incentives, are there other things that can be done to help improve drainage or aesthetics or something that can be used in that area to continue to allow development to happen a little easier, so there's a little lower cost for private developers saying, I can go and reinvest in that area and make something happen. So,
All
with that,
right.
Chairman, any questions from you or the board?
Anybody have any questions on this section?
All right, that completes the finance report, sir.
All right, well, it's time to start considering some projects, and so, Hannah, if you would, let's come talk about them.
Exciting today. Hannah Morel Development Services. I have 3 projects for you today. As Aaron mentioned earlier, the 123 North Chadburn. Many of y'all have seen before, but I'll discuss it as I am presenting it. So I'll
Can we
discuss-
hold on one second? So, I don't know if y'all are, but Aaron, I was having trouble with you with feedback, and now, Hannah, I
Can you
can't.
not hear me? Can you hear me now?
That's better.
See, I was too loud
Yes.
last time. Now I'm too quiet.
Is it the table that's doing it? Okay. I thought maybe it was just my bad hearing.
Am I being too loud? Okay.
Nope, that's a lot better now.
Okay. All right. Like I said, we have 3 projects that I'm going to go over today. 2 of them are asking for $75,000, and one of them is asking for $31,000. That totals $181,870 for the total project cost. That will leave us with $226,729. I know I double-checked this math like a million times. It seems really small for the remainder of it in the south, but check my math there, and I see you doing that over there. Okay.
To be clear on this, if we approve every one of these projects,
We'll be
this
left
is
with
what will
the
be left in the
226.
south. Okay.
Correct.
So, and remind me, when is the next application period for the south zone?
I think that's something that we're probably going to discuss in Aaron's director's report,
Okay,
but keep this 226 in mind
okay.
throughout the meeting. All right, first one, we're going to start with 19 East Concho. They're asking for $75,000. Their proposed project cost is going to be $225,660, and their match is going to be $150,660. They are doing a ton of work on this one, but they're mostly just asking for a sprinkler system to kind of get them in the door and get their business started. This was the old Marshall Pint. This is the front of what it looks like now. And then this is the back. This really has nothing to do with what they're asking for. I just wanted to let you guys know kind of what they're planning on doing with, once they get the sprinkler system put in place. So the bigger picture? Yes, sir.
What is the requirement for the match that
In
they're
the
putting?
south, it is 25%.
Okay, all right, so they are
They're well above their
that.
means, yes,
Yeah,
sir.
well above that.
And then 123 North Chadburn, as we talked about earlier, that they requested $17,000 first, the first round of the south cycle. They're still going to be asking for the same thing, but they're adding on a few more things, so you will see the same kind of stuff. The proposed project cost is $44,000, and their match is going to be that $12,480, and they're asking for $31,870. This is what the exterior looks like right now. This is just really rough of kind of what they look like. And then here is what they're wanting it to look like. These doors are not going to be them. They're going to be doing something more towards this. But I just wanted to show you guys a side by side. They're going to be painting entirely up to the windows and then painting white entirely up to the whole building and then adding on some signage. And then this is what you guys saw last time. They are also asking for the awning, but it'll just be their front awning. They're not going to be doing the side awning. And then their mural that's going to go on the side of the building right about there.
And that's the project we've already approved.
This was the
and then-
17,000 that was approved.
Okay, but they came back and.
Yes.
Yeah,
So they withdrew their application, so then I took the money back out of the pot
okay,
to add back into.
okay. And this is the Blue Buffalo? Just-
It is,
okay.
but it's now going to be a boutique.
Okay,
And then we have 206 and 210 South Chadburn. They are asking for $75,000, and their proposed project cost is $113,600, and their match is going to be the $28,400. They're asking for canopy, signage, exterior paint, and tile restoration. You'll notice this is where the dead horse was. They're pretty much redoing the whole facade, and then they're going to be painting over this side of the buffalo right here. And then they're going to do some tile restoration. So I believe it says someone's name here, but they're going to be adding their name instead. and these were all approved at DHRC.
Okay.
And then this is right next to it. It's going to be another bar, and it's going to be Tipsy Pink. They are only painting what has already been painted. They're not going to paint over any brick that hasn't been painted over before. And then they're going to add signage, and then they're going to add that canopy to the front of the door. And then that's all I had for those. I believe everyone's here, applicants,
Okay.
so if you have any questions.
All right. So for the newer members of the board, normally what we do is walk through them and we kind of vote on them as a bundle unless somebody has a reason to separate them out or wants to. But we also provide time if you have any specific questions, and also representatives from actually each business are here. So if we have any questions that need to be answered and they'd like to come forward, they can tell us more about it. So anybody on the board have questions about any of the certain projects? Let's, Steve, make sure, and I feel like I need to call you Judge Floyd, but Steve.
You know, before I was the judge, so I didn't have to follow any rules. Now I have to follow
Yeah, you
rules.
got to follow some rules. You did say that last time.
Well,
Come think of it.
I'm trying to get over it. I'm trying to get better. Anyway, who poured the concrete landing behind that building? And what was it for?
Are you-
Yeah, I was just, looking at it, it's,
I think that landing's been there.
well, I just wondered if they knew. I mean, it's a great idea of what they're gonna do, but I was kind of wondering what that was
Yeah,
for.
I'm actually not sure about the concrete in the back. I'm not sure if the prior owner, the Marshall Pint owner, can y'all hear me good too? Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, can you go back to that?
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
sure if he did that or not, honestly, and I could try to maybe be able to. Yeah, it kind of looks like a receiving, like shipment,
Okay.
receiving area. But I'm glad you asked the question. We wanted to introduce ourselves anyways to you guys. I'm BJ Huey. This is my wife, Natalie Huey. We're the owners of 19 East Concho. We're really excited for this project, and we appreciate your time. We think this is just a great opportunity to really bring in something neat to downtown San Angelo. I think it fits in the parameters of what this board is looking to do. And we're just really ready to get things going on it and get things open. And, I can have my wife talk a little bit more of the concept if you guys want to hear more about it.
Yeah, I
If
was
not,
just
I
gonna
know you
ask
guys
what
are all
I'm
busy.
sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't
so-
want to hijack it, but I just wanted to brief, what is it?
Okay, so guys, get excited. So first, it's a men's clothing store in the front. I know San Angelo doesn't have a full men's store that has everything head to toe for gentlemen. I have a location in Midland and one in Lubbock. Best men's store every year in business. I've been in business for 12 years. And when you come in, it's like a man cave. So it's very man-friendly where they don't feel like they're shopping, essentially. And then that's going to transition into a hidden speakeasy behind the store. So it's very cool how you have to get in there, but I won't go into details because it's going to be a surprise. I've got to figure it out. And then that transitions to an event space and then an outdoor patio as well. So it'll bring a lot of jobs in and really offer something that San Angelo really doesn't have a whole lot of, so.
And looking at the picture, there's no railing on that back patio or old receiving dock.
They actually the owner was not supposed to take it and he took all of the railing
Okay.
with him.
Okay,
Yeah, it's an
Yep.
old wooden railing. So
yeah,
It'll
We were
look a
gonna-
lot nicer what we've got planned to
Yes.
put
Okay.
back there.
And we're not blocking the river view. That was very important for us to be
Yeah.
able to keep. that.
always important,
Yeah.
always important, yeah.
Okay, what type of merchandise for men?
So everything head to toe, so from shoes to grooming products, mostly business casual, some outdoorsman gear, golf attire, very business casual and casual type clothing for men.
Accessories, watches,
Accessories.
belts,
Yeah.
Hats?
gifts,
Hats,
hats.
I have some
yes.
hats. And also, we may have a connection with the college to start making our own custom designs to start supporting the college. So I do that for our Texas Tech gear and a lot of other schools at my Midland location. So one-of-a-kind designs make you guys look extra good.
Thank you.
All right,
Well, thank you and the other applicants for investing in San Angelo.
yeah, we appreciate it, for
Putting your
sure.
time and
You're very
capital
excited.
into it.
I'm excited. I'm from here originally, so this was really important to me and, a passion project to be able to give back and do. I love downtown, loved coming down there since I was a kid. So it's exciting to have this opportunity to purchase this building and do this project with my wife. So,
Yeah, well, good.
yeah.
Well, we appreciate investments in West Texas, and especially San Angelo, so.
You bet.
Sounds like y'all are covering all the bases.
Is the Is the name a secret?
No, the name is Signature Stag.
Okay, I
So like
figured that's
your
what it was when
physical-
I'm a customer of yours in Midland, and
Okay.
I was like, wait a minute, this sounds a little familiar, but I didn't want to give it away.
I appreciate it.
So storefront is the same. The
Okay.
speakeasy is actually going to be called Alibi, because your alibi is, I'm going shopping, but really you're going to the bar. So, we called that Alibi, and the patio is gonna be called Stag Social. So it'll be an upscale patio,
very
not like the rustic picnic tables. It's going to actually be a little bougie, but eventually we wanna be able to rent it out to wedding parties and corporations and things like that, so.
Sure.
So you're going to give us a real alibi, not like those old stories with the
Yes,
bank and
like
all of that.
Actual Alice,
It's going to be real, huh?
and it's hidden, so yeah, you
Okay.
can actually know it's there
Okay.
too.
All
It's
right.
like a puzzle to get in. It's gonna be very,
Yeah.
Well, I
very
think it was
unique.
like a puzzle before, but, with the bank. But
That's true.
They managed to
That
get it
is
done.
true.
That's right.
Well, cool.
Well,
All right.
yeah, well, thank you guys. We appreciate your time and look forward to meeting you guys and getting this going down here.
All right. Well, we appreciate y'all.
Thank you for your time.
Do we have any questions about 123 North Chadburn, Blue Buffalo? Oh, Aaron's coming up.
I'm just gonna move it
Oh, okay.
forward to maybe the next one, if y'all want to talk about it. If y'all had any other questions on this one on 123.
I have a question. They're not here, right?
We do have a representative here.
I was going to say, I thought we had a representative here.
Could she come and ask us some questions?
Hello, Amber Howell, owner of Dear Ryan at 123 North Chadburn.
Okay. So what type of boutique will it be?
It is women's clothing,
Casual, dressy, fancy?
both.
Okay.
Yes, I try to bring in things that are exclusive. I do make sure that there are no other boutiques that are carrying my products, and my prices are reasonable. There's also accessories, jewelry, hats.
Okay, great.
I believe I met you at the last,
I think
the
so.
DHRC meeting, yes.
I think so. Just wanted to let everybody hear what it's going to be.
So you're expanding the model of what Blue Buffalo is, like the mural and all that, and then changing it from an art
Gallery.
studio to a boutique.
Well, previously it was the Blue Buffalo, and they worked very hard getting that mural approved, and that's just something that I said I would not take away
Sure.
as the new owner.
Okay, excellent.
And it's a nice mural. Welcome to San Angelo. You're coming right off the loop and hitting that
Yeah,
part of Chadburn, so.
that's exactly right.
And Chairman, I want to commend the applicant and Hannah for working together, because they realized there's some additional funding there, that let's not miss out on some funding opportunity. Obviously, you guys and City Council has the final say, but they worked together to say, how can we beef this up to get it, to utilize some more dollars that are sitting there?
Okay. And I guess we don't have any other questions, so
Okay.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
And then, of course, there's 206 and 210 South Chadburn. While we're there, come on up, ladies.
Hi, I'm Cynthia Olguin. Oh, this one. Let's see. Back. Okay. I'm Cynthia Olguin. I own 206 and 210. This is Danielle. She's my awesome designer that helped me
Okay.
kind of get the whole vision that I was going for together. It is 2 bars. It's Vida is actually going to be a higher upscale cocktail bar for people more my age now. Like, I go out now and there's not places where I can sit down, actually have a decent conversation and hear each other talk, you know? And the other side is Tipsy Pink. So you're going to be able to go from one location to the other side. That's going to be a pink bubbly bar, kind of a girly kind of concept. Just for parties, you know, bachelorette parties, 21st birthday parties, you know, or, you know, it's open to the public as well. But I just thought something different for San Angelo. I've been in the bar industry for 18 years, and now I've outgrown that age back then to now where I want something a little bit more upscale, something I can sit down and enjoy with friends, family, coworkers, and all that stuff. So
Excellent.
that building came across, and I jumped on it and got my vision together with the help of Danielle, and we put a lot of work, and I'm putting a lot of work and money on the interior, so I really needed the help for the exterior part, because it needs a lot of work, as you can see. So in order for it to match what I have the envision of inside, which we've been working on for months, it needs work on outside, and I need the help as well. So that's why we're presenting to y'all today.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for him? Excellent.
Before they leave, I want to go back to the amount slide. Now, they were trying to get in under the wire because they had to get through DHRC and all those processes. But as you guys recognize, there's 2 addresses here. And we historically have looked at, okay, well, we could fund address A and address B. Even though they're the same property owner, they're not truly the same property. So I just want that as part of y'all's consideration, knowing that we have some additional funding there in the South Tiers. While they have one application technically today for the 75,000, I think there is an opportunity that you could look at how do we fund both addresses, and maybe that gets them a little further down the road.
Sure. Getting a better bang for our buck.
Correct.
So, yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
ladies. We appreciate y'all. And so with that, any discussion amongst the board about any of these? We've asked questions. Anybody have any questions or thoughts? All right, then.
For
Okay.
exterior sprinklers, kind of what the money's there to be used for.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, with that comment, would someone like to make a motion that we approve all 3 of these in aggregate?
I'll make a motion to approve all 3.
Okay.
And I'll second the motion.
So Ryan makes the motion, Shirley makes the second, and if you approve the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, anybody against? Nay? Don't think we have any. The motion passes, I'll say unanimously. So congratulations to y'all, each and every one of you. We look forward to seeing what y'all do with all of those properties here in San Angelo. And now it is time for the director's report.
Thank you, Chairman. Again, Aaron Vanoy, trying to get to the May calendar. We believe those cases will go in front of City Council on May the 20th, so that they will be able to look at those for funding. I'm going to look tomorrow to see if we can get them on May the 6th, but I can't guarantee that, but I know I can get them on May the 20th for their approval at that level. So with that, Chairman, as you saw, we do have some funding that is still kind of just sitting there in the north and a little bit in the south. Myself and Trey have had a couple of conversations of how do we work on, as we have new members of this board, how do we work on our priorities in the short term and long term for the remaining 10 years of where this TIRZ funding can go. So we were thinking, obviously we're in an election cycle, allowing that election cycle to complete itself, and then maybe midsummer, late summer, having some strategic planning sessions with the TIRZ Board to talk about some possibilities, all the way from infrastructure projects to private projects, and how those things could impact the North Tiers, the South Tiers. What does it do with the funding? What are some of our future commitments with that connection project? And what does that really look like financially for us in the future? We do feel like the 2 areas are very stable as far as the tax base coming in. In fact, the South has really caught up with the North as far as being about 1.1 to 1.2, and the North is 1.2 to 1.3 every year coming in. And so that's very promising. And then how do we continue to work with our private community, like these folks here in the audience today, to say, we have some private folks that are investing in this. Can we get some assistance in facade replacement, sprinklers, life safety type things that can help those buildings stay viable and stay occupied? Because that's really what the TIRZ district in downtown and San Angelo is about, is how do we keep our small businesses moving so that they can keep being successful. So if y'all have any ideas, at our next TIRZ Board meeting, I'm going to bring some ideas just from staff. That doesn't mean those are the ideas we need to take, but if y'all have some ideas, be thinking about those, share those with Trey or Shirley, or send them to me or Hannah, and we'll start talking about those and seeing what does it take to get some of these things to move forward. Is there a bigger discussion here with city staff and ultimately city council of how do we move things forward for some of our TIRZ areas? The other thing, obviously, we do have some funding there in the south. The consideration is, do we have some of those strategic discussions first, or do we say, okay, we've got, I want to say it was 226,000. Do we go ahead and open up another round? Of course, if we have a few that ask for 75,000, that only goes so far. But obviously, there is some funding there. We haven't had, and I'll look to Hannah to confirm, but we haven't really had anybody else come forward recently asking. That doesn't mean there's not new people coming, trying to decide to do businesses tomorrow in our South TIRZ district. So any direction from you guys is helpful. We could set that be an official agenda item next time and say, yes, we want to open up another round of funding for the South, and we can bring that forward if that's y'all's desire.
And to keep everything not in the open, but as jog my memory on it, the north is open for application
All the time.
all the time. And then we decide to open windows up for the south. And so really that's at the board's pleasure. So we can put it on the agenda for next month to discuss
Okay.
that. And then have some of those strategic decisions too, or conversations, not
Yeah.
decisions, conversations, sorry. And then the other thing I was going to say, thank you for asking the questions you did about the private incentives. I think it would be good to put those on the agenda, just a quick review to bring everybody up to speed, because I know there are those of us in here who were part of those discussions and or came on board and have seen them progress, but to bring everybody up to speed and on the same page so we're making the best decisions possible. So,
Yes.
yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Aaron, thank you for the information. So what does a strategic session look like from your perspective for the board to really talk about? I know we've had a lot of discussion over the last couple of years.
Yes.
So what would that strategic
I
meeting
think
look
we
like?
would spend 2 to 3 hours of a morning or an afternoon in a setting like this. It would still, if we're going to have all of our board, it would still need to be an official public meeting. We would just post an agenda about strategic discussion items that we would have. Myself would bring some presentations on some stuff that maybe we've discussed prior, of saying, hey, we'd like to hear about drainage, or we would like to hear about something, and maybe even the director of operations could bring something forward if there's something there. We could probably also hear maybe from the Small Business Administration about private incentives and how they're working, and same with our downtown San Angelo group coming and talking about how they're marketing the program to the community as well.
Well, you just hit it. That was one of the things I was concerned about, if we could have special presentations in that to kind of help us along with the strategic process.
Yes, ma'am.
And what that would really look like. I mean, we could talk to each other, and we're probably pretty much on the same page most of the time, but I was curious about some other source coming in to provide and share.
Yes, ma'am. I think that would be very critical to help give some ideas what they hear, what they're seeing, because that's going to help guide us. We think we see and hear everything, but we don't. So
Right.
those other folks can help us.
I think Small Business Administration would be a great partner to maybe look at that, because they can get that data that would show us the types of businesses that are coming into communities our size, comparing us to other communities our size, to give us some ideas as we go through the rest of the period. So as we get applicants who come in, maybe we can use that as some thought.
Yes, ma'am.
About how that might help. And what about anyone from the Chamber of Commerce? Would
That'd
that
be a great idea.
Okay.
Any of those folks that can help look at, particularly those that are looking in this corridor, because we have all the way from industrial down to retail in this corridor that is overseen by TIRZ. And we hope over the next few months we'll bring in some more maps and some more information just for education for our current members. But yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Right, and I just heard the last applicant talk about, she's a little older now, so she wants to have a different format. So then we might be able to come up with some ideas for you for a senior level
Yeah.
cocktail bar. In
Shirley
the back
probably has
in the back of all of that, so we'll work on trying to come up with some ideas to help you.
Yeah.
So that's what I wanted.
Very good.
Thank you.
The last thing I have, Chairman, is to give y'all an update on the nonprofit status. It has been requested by City Council for that to be heard again. And so it is on the agenda May 6th. And so that is May 6th at 8:30 over at the McNeese Convention Center. So if anyone is able to be present, it is the same presentation that we did back in January, that we're asking to set a special account aside, a certain amount of dollars aside for the north tiers to allow nonprofits to apply for that bucket of funds, if you will. And I believe the dollar amount was 200,000. They could do an individual project, they could do 2 or 3 of them together and do a project. It's coming forward because there was only 6 city council members available at that time. They did not have the full 7. And they believe they will have the full 7 on May the 6th to get off of a 3-3 vote. City staff is recommending for the set-aside amount, as did the TIRZ Board at that time. But we are also asking them to make a decision one way or the other, either yes nonprofits or no nonprofits. Don't leave it in the middle. Let's make a decision one way or the other. Myself and Brandon Dyson, who's our interim city attorney, has been looking at other TIRZ programs as well as with the Texas Comptroller. Currently, we have not found any that specifically give to just nonprofits or have as a nonprofit category, but we've also not found any prohibition of giving to nonprofits. So it's kind of left to the local jurisdiction, and so I believe May 6th is the time to bring that forward as requested and let the city council members make that decision. So if you're able to attend, you'll be able to give public comment, or if you have any other comments that you want to send with me, and I'm happy to share with those during that presentation, I'd be happy to do that as well.
Question, depending on the outcome of the May 6th council decision, is that something that we could also maybe include in the strategic discussions?
Yes, ma'am.
Some of this data that you have found?
Yes, ma'am.
From other cities, depending on
Yes, ma'am.
the outcome of May 6th, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
I certainly can.
One way or the other.
Yes.
So, yeah. So that's just to repeat what you said, it's May 6th, 8:30 a.m., McNeese Convention Center, City Council, and you'll be representing what we,
Correct.
So
That is correct.
about 10% of what we have in the South Zone, we just set that aside as a cap.
Well, it would be in the north zone.
Oh, north,
Currently, the
excuse me,
north
yes,
zone- Yes,
sorry.
sir. So the south zone prohibits nonprofits currently. The north zone allows applications. Nobody has actually received dollars through city council in the north zone. And so that's
Yes.
correct.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Do we have anything else?
That's all we have, Chairman.
All right. Well, Aaron, thank you so much for that. So our next item on the agenda is for announcements. We've already gone over the possible future agenda items. Unless anybody has something they want to add to that.
Mr. Chairman, may I?
Yes, sir.
I spent 18 years on the Commissioner's Court kind of extorting taxpayer money out of people. I think it's going to be a hell of a lot more fun giving it back to them than it was taking it from them. So I appreciate the opportunity to serve on the board.
I think the citizens of San
Want to
Angelo.
make sure that's part of the official record.
No
coming
kidding.
From the
The
past judge
citizens
here.
of San Angelo and Tom Green County probably appreciate that statement very much. And you know as well as I do, these are broadcasts, so I'll save the rest of my comments for after the meeting. But next meeting will be Tuesday, May 27th. It'll be right here in the East Mezzanine at 2 p.m. Look forward to seeing you all there. But between now and then, we need a motion to adjourn.
Chairman, before we get that motion, Hannah and I realized that that's the day after Memorial Day. Is that an issue for anyone? We're just going to make sure that we're going to have quorum, that kind of thing.
Sure.
We could move it to June. That just puts it a little further. But you guys, if y'all have anything on your calendars, it'd be good to just let us know today. If not, we'll schedule it.
That's a question. I was going to say, so Shirley just asked, are we able to move it up a week? I know we can move it back, but that's really at the discretion of the board. So.
And we can check on the room availability to see if we can move it. May 20th, okay.
I think we can move it up a week, or we can move it to the first week of June if needed. Y'all's discretion.
What is the board's pleasure?
That Memorial Day, this grandkid of mine, I tell you, I just don't think I'll.
We would be ready by May 20th, if that makes it easier.
Yeah, I mean, I think for the customer, which is who we work for, I think we probably need to do it as fast as we can rather than prolonging it, because any decisions, just like we did on P and Z back in the day, and just like we did on COSA DC that I just got off, the longer we take to make a decision, they're waiting on us. So I think
Correct.
we should do it as fast as we can.
So that's 30 days roughly. We do it on May 20th.
Yeah.
About 30
Yeah.
days from now.
Does that work for everybody's calendar? Okay, well,
We'll start looking at getting it scheduled as soon as we get back at the office and make sure the room's clear, and we'll let you know.
yeah.
Okay.
And we might be able to find another place to meet too.
Maybe.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. So with that, we'll move the meeting tentatively to May 20th. And location is to be determined at this point. If we don't have anything else, now we'll go for the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay, so Joe, Shirley seconds, and all in favor, go ahead and stand up.
All right.
Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for coming today.